Well, hello there, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. I want everybody to reach around, give yourself a big pat on the back because you took the time to tune in today. You're going to be glad you did because today we have excellent information for you. It's going to be really relevant, and we're very excited to bring it out to everybody. So, as you probably know, I am your host, John Mitchell. And today we are honored indeed to introduce our highly esteemed guest that will guide us through the intricate world of family law. Her name is Robin Grain, JD. Robin's journey is really impressive. She is certified by the Virginia Supreme Court as a divorce and family law mediator and nationally recognized as a divorce financial analyst. Her wealth of experience spans decades, from being one of Chicago's first court-certified mediators to serving as a divorce attorney and child support hearing officer. Robin's expertise is unparalleled with a law degree from Chicago Kent College of Law and a bachelor's degree from Virginia Commonwealth University. Robin's commitment to legal excellence shines through. Not only has she navigated the complexities of family law, but also shared her insights through notable interviews and features in publications such as Money Markets and More, U.S. News and World Report, and the Wall Street Journal's Market Watch. Join me, John Mitchell, as we embark on a journey into family law's heart with the incredible Robin Grain, JD, as our guide here on Legal Talk. Welcome, Robin.
Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful complimentary bio. It's really nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right in because I know our audience, time is money. So let me go ahead and ask you this first question burning on everybody's mind. How is a business valued during a divorce? And what are the common challenges for small and medium business owners?
Well, let's start with the first part, which is how is a business valued in a divorce? All divorce law is state by state. So different states have different ways of insisting that you value a business. But you can be sure that no matter what state you're in, there's going to be more than one. So I can speak to my state, Virginia. If you were to go full on litigation and you were to need to value your business, which is not a requirement in a divorce, but it would be a requirement if you were to go to trial. So you would certainly be, if it behooved you, in other words, if it was best for your position, looking at a market value. So that would be hiring a business valuation expert who is good at determining market value. What could you actually sell it for? Now, I, as a business owner, and all my business owner clients, we think that that's the only value. But of course, we have to make things more complicated than that in the law. There's also something called an intrinsic value, which I call everything but the kitchen sink. If you were to go to court in a state like Virginia, and I'm not sure how many states are like Virginia, but plenty, you would have to hire a business valuation expert that would, for example, they would put everything but the kitchen sink into the valuation. For example, they would determine the differential between how much a business owner would make if he or she were working for somebody else running that business. Let's say it's a landscaping business, and the landscaping owner is making $200,000 a year. But if he or she were to go and manage somebody else's landscaping business, they would be making 50. The differential would be factored into the value of a business, which business people do not do, but divorced people do. So it's basically a mess, and it's a lot like many other things. If you were to try a divorce case, who's got the best lawyer? What kind of head does the judge have? Can the judge follow the numbers? You never know. So you have to assess all of these things. In settlement, for example, with all of my clients, because I'm a mediator, so we're always settling. We oftentimes do not get a professional valuation of the business. Where I am, there's a lot of, I call it a guy in a laptop business, where people are pulling down $250,000 all by themselves, sitting on their couch. selling secret services to the government. So we don't necessarily value that because clearly if that guy drops dead, that business is worth zero. And a lot of my clients will exchange valuing a business for maybe a little more spousal support, maybe a little more something, something equity in the house. So, but valuing a business, though it's the first step if you're headed towards litigation, it's not always the first step if you can settle at the table. So
Got it.
the question too was,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
we're moving
what
on
do
to that.
business owners run into?
Great information for question number one. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, and that's going to be real valuable to folks out
Thank
there.
you.
So now let me follow up with this. In the context of a divorce, how is the division of a business handled? Let's say if one spouse is way more actively involved in the business than the other spouse.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the stuff of how the attorneys make the money. I mean, these small business cases are very complicated. This is actually when I was a young attorney in Chicago. This is what my firm specialized. So I cut my teeth on divorce work with just these kind of cases. We called it big money, small business. And we represented both the spouse that didn't own the business and the spouse that did. So when you're looking at divorce, we're looking at assets and we're looking at the classification of the assets. So if a business was started during the marriage and only one spouse's sweat and blood and tears were in the business and the other spouse contributed absolutely nothing to the business, but maybe shushing the kids when the other parent was on a business call or something like that. But essentially it was a one spouse show. That business still belongs to the marriage because that business is an asset. So it's marital property, period. The classification of that asset is it belongs to the marriage, period. A judge is going to look at that and divide that according to the laws of the state. What you're talking about when you talk about one spouse contributed more to the increase in value of that business, what you're talking about are negative and positive financial contributions to the marriage. So that's what the argument would be. So there's always two prongs when you're talking about division and distribution of assets and debt in a divorce. One is, does it belong to the marriage or not? Which basically means, can a judge move it amongst the spouses? Does it belong to the marriage? Only marital property can a judge touch and do what judges do with it, which is move it around. Then you say, pretty much the default in all states is that all marital assets are to be divided 50-50. There's about 9 states that is the law, what we call black letter law. It is what it is. California and a lot of the western states are like that. East Coast, not so much. Middle of the country, not so much. Most of our states are equitable distribution, which means marital assets will be divided however darn well the judge says they should. Whatever the judge says is fair, which is usually 50-50. And businesses are no different unless you can convince a judge, which is done around where I am, because like I said, a lot of it's just one person and a laptop, that business is 100% what we call personal goodwill, and that it's really not a business, just a guy and a laptop.
Right, right. I completely understand, and that's going to be real important for people out there to remember. And so, just to kind of close things out real quickly, we only got a couple of minutes left. But what, if any, can you tell us about the tax implications that might occur if you're dividing business assets in a divorce?
Oh gosh, I can't tell you about what they would be, but you need to nail down who is going to pay them. So a lot of my cases, it will say with crystal clarity, the business owner must pay all taxes related to that business and get all refunds that are a result of owning that business for the tax year in question. It might say that they're not going to file their taxes together, but you need to clarify what you want to do. I wouldn't trust the IRS defaults on such a thing in that year of divorce. You need to make your own rules, basically.
Right, perfectly. Well, that is perfectly understandable and very important for people out there. Make sure that you get everything in writing, and that's going to be your best way to go. Protect yourself and protect whatever agreement that the two folks can come to in that context. So, Robin, we really appreciate you being with us on this segment today. And if you would please take this final little bit of time that we have left and let people know out there, should people want to go ahead and get a hold of you, contact you, what would be the best way for them to go ahead and do that?
Well, I still answer the phone. So I would say call me 571-220-1998. I'm pretty sure I'm the last lawyer or lawyer adjacent professional in Northern Virginia to talk to people. But I really like to have cases that are right for my firm, and I like to be right for the people that I deal with, so everybody gets a free 15 minutes. My website is graine, Graine, mediation.com. I also have a YouTube channel. I would say probably over half of my clients find me through YouTube. That
Wow.
too is
Well,
Graine
you know,
Mediation.
that is the modern way today, Robin. They find you online, and very pleased, though, to hear that you still pick up the phone for folks, and I'm sure that is greatly appreciated. And so just folks out there, when you want to get a hold of Robin, get a hold of a divorce mediator extraordinaire, well, just pick up that phone, and you're going to get right through to Robin on her phone number.
Yeah.
So thanks for being with us, and thanks to the audience for being with us. We are going to take a short break, and we will be right back with our next segment right here on Legal Talk.